Welcome to Conversation Oasis, a weekly discussion program coming to you from the Kasviskeidas restaurant here in the city center of Turku. My name is Nana Blomqvist and I will be chairing this discussion and also joining in. David, our regular host for this program, is on vacation, so that's why I am hosting this time. Welcome to the program. With me today I have my regular guys, Zach, Ville and Jalal, but we also have another guest here with us today, Marie. So yes, last time we were talking about feminism and it was a bit spreaded discussion, and today we're gonna start with talking about dating and such. One of us have been maybe on a date just before arriving to this program. We will not reveal who that was and what if. I think it was maybe.
Yeah, that's a secret.
That's a secret.
I think I know who it was.
Maybe, and maybe it was unclear if it was a date or not. But from here, like dating cultures and stuff. Like how when do you know that you're on a date actually, and or if like what was it?
Yeah, sometimes
what happened?
What happened?
At least I've sometimes been kind of on a date, and then I've been asked later on by the other person that was this a date, and then neither of us actually did know the answer. We were like, I don't know, let's see. Let's just do something. Yeah, we discussed it, and then perhaps the other person might be like disappointed if the answer is not like certain that it was a date or it wasn't a date.
Is it because you don't know or because you're afraid to say that it was a date for you at least?
Well, in that case that I'm thinking back of, I actually like, well, I hadn't even given it a thought really. I just met the person, and then the other person was more like thinking it was a date. Sometimes it can be like.
And for you, it was just not so exciting.
I was just like I met the person for the first time, or like the first time we went somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe it tells about my mentality. I don't think so much. Like every time I meet a person who is the opposite sex, it is not always it is not always a date for me.
It's just a meeting.
It's just an
encounter.
Yeah. But it could have been a date.
But this is very confusing issue still in our society, that we have a problem to be honest with our feeling, that we cannot just say very frankly to the other one that let's go for a date.
Yeah.
We go out to see how the other one feels and how do you feel, and then in the end it's kind of confusing situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes that you stay single for a long time just because you cannot just be honest.
Yeah, maybe both parties would have been like wanting to have a date, but neither was ready to open up, like to admit it.
To admit that.
Or to be vulnerable.
Like.
And then we lose sometimes opportunity to be a friend of our female counterpart, just because we think that now she might think that if I ask her out, it's a date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get friend-zoned.
Is it friend-zoned? Well, yeah, but then on the other hand, like it's kind of an issue, like if we consider like our last time topic, the feminist topic, in a way that in one way there is this issue of considering the opposite sex always as a potential romantic or sexual partner, because and then on the other hand we don't want to dismiss that from life either, would we? So how do we combine respect for each other without dismissing dating and excitement and sex and everything that's like that attraction and sort of and not and maintain all respect in it. I mean, so that because obviously for some people it seems like it is an issue because somebody's always complaining no matter what you do. Marie, what do you have on your mind?
Yeah, I was thinking like there's this good flirt, like it's people you like, you could sleep with them, or you would like to maybe, but you don't for several reasons. Maybe because you want to be friends, or the other person is too old, or something, I don't know, but
there's something
you don't have
that
similar interests. But I think the other person needs some kind of like, when I say, Nana, I like you really much, I could sleep with you somehow, but I won't, because I don't want to. But this kind of interaction makes us friends. Like
can be.
Can you see
if
we have a chemistry?
If there is like enough trust, because like I had a situation before, also like with a friend, a male friend, who like quite out of the blue, quite suddenly sort of suggested or said like something like, I'm not gonna go into details exactly what he said, but like more or less like a straightforward suggestion for sex. And I was like, whoa, well no, I don't feel the same, and kind of change the subject. And
is that flirting?
No, that was like just awkward.
Yes.
I mean, so in his world, for some reason, he figured that was like the liberated friendship stuff, and for me that was just like very clumsy, like a little bit disrespectful maybe as well. Sort of that you don't need to feel the atmosphere before you just walk in, so to speak.
Yeah, I think sometimes people may have like their expectations they do not sort of meet, so you could be kind of like in two levels at the same time. The other person thinking that here we are having this liberal friendship thing and this is nice, and the other person, as you mentioned, thinking that where did this come from? Yeah. I had kind of like similar experience with what we were like in the same level with one of my friends long ago, and we were like friends with this my female friend, and then one day we were coming from a party, and then we just walked on the street, and then we just started talking that that I never actually considered that, but should we like have sex? And then she was like, yeah, I never thought of it, but yeah, maybe. Let's go to our place, and then we went there, and then we just, because we were like long time friends and everything, and then it was kind of like funny. We started being kind of like sexual, but then we stopped. We just decided that no, that we are too much like friends, and then we decided not to, because at that time we thought that sex always changes the relationships in some way. So we didn't have sex, and we stayed as friends, and we were both on the same page, and it was kind of like funny experience. But this time we were in the same page. But in your situation, you were not in a similar. But we didn't know where it was gonna go. It was really strange.
You say it means that when you say that sex is gonna change your friendship relationship with the other person, it means that you are not sure if that relationship you are going to start with your friend lasts for a long time, and you are afraid at any point you break up with her, and then you won't have that friendship anymore. But so this is now our reality of our time, that relationships are not that secure anymore like it used to be.
It also used to be like sort of old-fashioned relationships.
Yeah, they are forced also.
Yeah, but like maybe the quality of them wasn't any better. I can't say anything about that though. But like I would agree that sex changes things, because you share like an aspect of your vulnerability with each other that you didn't before, and that puts things on a new perspective. New space where you have to deal with feelings and stuff that you haven't had between you before, like in your relationship. Like, for example, if something goes wrong, or like how to say, because you do things that you like, and maybe something
that you shouldn't do.
No, not shouldn't, but like maybe something embarrassing happens, or like the other one doesn't like what you like, and it can be like you had never had to deal with these kinds of things before, and it might, or whatever, you know things about the other one you didn't know before. All these kinds of things makes a difference, I would say, and that you have to be very respectful around and not fool around with it, sort of.
I would like to ask again, because Sakke mentioned earlier the term, was it like friend zoning or something like this?
Friend zone.
If I have understood right, doesn't it mean that people are starting to meet each other and then there comes this horrible fate that you accidentally are just a friend and you won't get laid or something like that?
That's a horrible fate.
Yeah. But in my story,
For someone.
But in my story, it was like the opposite way. That the friendship was more important to us.
Exactly.
So it was kind of like interesting.
But I think one comment though with these friends, like just to clarify this, why it can be considered a very anti-feminist statement, like or anti-feminist term, is that men, that there would be this perspective that men are privileged or entitled to sexual relationship with women, and women guard their sexuality and men chase and all this, and then from this point of departure in thinking, this friend zone term would have evolved, and that's why it can be considered a very anti-feminist term.
I wanted to mention this regarding to what you said earlier, that when you're talking about friend zone, does it mean that we should have a principle not to talk about our sexual desires with friends? But if, for example, you wouldn't talk with your friend about your sexual desire, in the end you wouldn't realize that you don't want to do that. So probably that was all the time in your mind that bring it up. So it's good to talk and not to be afraid about sexual desires.
Yeah,
and still we have this taboo that we are afraid to talk about.
But I think you are sort of on the line of thinking in terms of taboos and such, whereas I don't think that's what we are referring to when we talk about this as like something sensitive and involving like the consideration of respect and all this. I think this taboo stuff that you're talking about is something different, and that's something different, and I think it's good to keep those separated.
Can you explain?
I don't understand.
I think it's kind of related in a way that I've started to believe this lately, that we live in a sort of like how would I say, contradicting times, because we have like at the same time we have like a society full of sexual themes and stuff like that, but at the same time we have a culture of sort of sexual negativity, in a way that if something is sexual, it's usually related to shame or related to some kind of like negative thing, like for example, a woman who is actively sexual is always referred to with words like slut or something like that. There is no like positive word, like there are like negative references, and in that sense I think it's related. That this is kind of long haul, but anyhow it's related because sometimes the fear comes from that you are encountering something negative, but it could be positive. In my story there was no negative thing about it. We just experienced it, and then we just both realized that this is not really what we want, so we were okay with it. But we were, as you mentioned, it was good to approach it and talk about it, and I believe that open, I believe in open kind of thing.
You are listening to Conversation Oasis here on Radio Robin Hood. This is a weekly discussion program coming to you from Kasviskeidas restaurant here in the city center of Turku. With me here today I have my regular guys, Zach, Ville, Jalal, and we have a new guest, Marie, with us today. We have been discussing dating and the limits between friendship and sexuality, basically, and can they be crossed or can they not? And I think this topic might be sort of burning in general, so we probably, these guys and gals probably have a lot more to say about that regarding feminist issues, for example, and safe space regarding dating and sexuality. So why do you guys make such faces now? Can you explain?
What safe places for dating?
No, safe space, like it's a concept. Safe space. Well, actually, it can be.
No-go zone?
No, not at all.
Security.
Like emotional safety, sort of, where you can be sure you are respected, respected and taken into account.
And speak freely without judgment and stuff like that.
Yeah, but with responsibility.
Yeah, with responsibility. Yeah.
Where responsibility and respect and all these kinds of things are in balance.
Yeah.
And inclusion.
But again, responsibility is a little bit a question, because responsibility is in people's mind, and you don't know when it's responsible for the other one, when it's responsible for you.
The thing is, like, we can actually talk about responsibility.
But
what is the but it's connected. In the way that we can make a small. What is responsibility, Marie?
No, I was thinking about totally different things at the moment.
Shoot, what was it? Speak your mind.
I think as well we are responsible for making our own relationships. Like if we have a friend relationship, I think it's important for us to define it ourselves, not let the others or the society or something define it for us, because then it's no good. Or if we maybe start out with it as a model, for example, we're gonna be friends, but then we notice, like, this is not, maybe we are something maybe in the gray zone, but it's fine as well. So
as long as there is trust, there is a good relationship, probably.
And we should not take responsibilities for somebody else's feelings as well. We have to notice, like, what's mine and what's yours. And
on one hand, but we are also responsible for other people's feeling. I mean, it has to be a balance, because it's very tricky when you put these issues into words, because whatever you say, it just sounds wrong. We are not responsible for others' feeling. No, but that's wrong. But we are. But it's also wrong.
But,
sort of. It's very difficult when we put these issues into words, because it's sort of.
For example, I've been talking that racists should have the right to speak out. So doesn't matter what, responsible or irresponsible. So for me, the trust that none of us mentioned was very important. But still, for me, when I understand his fear, I give him right to be afraid, and to give him time to give him possibility to realize what is his problem, or if I can offer any help. So it's to be responsible for me here is to understand somebody else, not to accuse him.
Yeah, to be empathetic, basically. To be able to be empathetic even to something that seems obnoxious. So that you kind of can see through the people's obnoxiousness. Obnoxiousness. I like this word, obnoxious. Obnoxious.
What does it even mean?
Motbjudande ungefär. Ungefär motbjudande. Obnoxious.
Yeah.
But not exactly motbjudande, but something in that direction.
One thing that comes to mind about safe space and dating, I have no experience myself, but when you go to Tinder date, is there some sort of like etiquette or sort of like, because you meet a person you haven't ever met and you both kind of want to feel safe, but in a sense you don't know the other person, and then it's also sort of like speed dating kind of thing. So is it more like, what kind of experiences do you have, or do you have any stories or something? Like, is it like a cruel world out there, or is it like a community where people are actually respected? I have no idea.
I've never been on Tinder, so what do you guys think about this?
Do you think it's a good thing, or?
Deep silence, no.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it.
Can you ask the question again?
The Tinder, the dating
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
I was thinking just that when you meet up with a person you haven't met before, like suddenly just based on your looks, you don't really know much about. Well, currently I think there are some details also of what the person does or something like that, but still, like, how is it? Is it like a...
But this I think very much has to do with fear again, because when you cannot socialize with your own environment because you are afraid of how you look like to them or how they are going to judge, the application online option gives you that kind of possibility that not to be seen, but to be presented as you want to be presented.
Yeah, I have my a view of Tinder, even if I haven't used it, but based on what I have heard, it's sort of like this kind of poker game where you don't show your cards to the other, and then you both have your fears or expectations, but then you just talk with your friends that I had this new Tinder date, or it's not a date, it's Tinder date. So and you don't meet people, you meet Tinder people. Like it's like
in real life,
you meet them in real life, but I have heard that people talk about those people. They always put the Tinder the first
Tinder match.
They sort of
you
like
see there are a lot of vulnerability. How do you say vulnerability?
Yeah.
It's like you see fear, and that's why when you see their profile picture, the poses that they have is not that much honest for me when I see them. So it's somehow they want just to be something else, somebody else. I don't want to really be judgmental here, but it still is, for me, it's like that they cannot socialize or communicate with their own environment, so that's why they go to be something else. They got there.
Yeah, so Tinder, responsibility and fear. You are listening to Conversation Oasis here on Radio Robin Hood. This is a weekly discussion program coming to you from the Kasviskeidas restaurant here in the city center of Turku. I am Nana Blomqvist and I'm hosting this program today because David, our regular host, is on vacation, and with me I have my regular guys, Zach, Ville and Jalal, and our guest Marie. And we are talking about Tinder and dating.
Saying this, by the way, I cannot be on Tinder anymore because they will be accused that I'm against of it.
Yeah, every Tinder using is listening to our program, we can hope.
Yeah.
Jalal cannot be on Tinder anymore.
Yeah. Tinder.
Tinder.
Timber is falling down. I used Tinder once. It's like 2 years ago.
What happened?
A lot of things happened. But,
so what happened? Do you want to share with you?
No, not really. It felt like just people are judging you by your looks, and you can choose your photo, you can redigera your photo and edit your photo, and I think it was quite obvious who you would match with in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I got that feeling when I was using it.
But where the context when people contact another person, is it like really direct that like directly for sex or directly for...
I think it depends on the person, of course, but there's also serious people who are searching for a relationship, and maybe that's the easy way for them to do it online.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but then on the other hand, I see the aspect of things becoming a bit commodified, as kind of you're hinting at, Zach, when you're talking about like that you isn't in a package there somehow with the looks, with the sort of traits, like I'm like this, that and that, sort of you, and then I want this, that or that. So it's that you are not there to negotiate or to negotiate actually, but you're not there to explore what encounters and life is about. You're there to pick up your package, sort of.
I guess it depends on motivation. My own experience about Tinder are actually my my mother, she wanted to have Tinder on her phone. And,
just make clear, clarify that sentence. That came out very delicate. So
yeah. I didn't meet my mother in the Tinder, but my mother got a new phone. That would be like time travel or something. I don't know. But anyhow, well, my mother got a new phone, and she asked from the store that, can you install also Tinder there? I want to try it. And okay, and then she told me about it, and I asked her that, do you know how to use it actually? And she went, yeah, I just scroll the photos. And do you know that you actually, when you scroll the right, that you like the photo, and you scroll the left, you don't like? No, she didn't know it. She just randomly scrolls it. So she had just picked like randomly all the contacts, and then she had a match from some guy, and she was like, why is this match here? And interesting thing was that we tried to set up the range for matches to 80 kilometers, but she got matches from 8,000 kilometers away from New York. Like some gallerist from New York. Easy to be a woman. and then
if it was Christmas time, it was a good opportunity.
Zach, I get the feeling you want to put in these anti-feminist statements every once in a while, like there's friend zone and easy to be a woman, all this stuff. So like Zach.
You know,
sorry.
You should be.
All the possibility that the internet gives to people is very positive and good, because many people have. They are shy, they have issue with socializing, and still they need to have partners, and this gives possibility for them to have it from somewhere else. It's good.
Yeah. I have usually thought that people, they might walk around outside, like hoping that they might meet someone for months away, but now you can actually like maybe meet someone pretty quickly. So
imagine this in a culture where, in another different culture than we have in Finland.
What are you thinking of, like, for example?
Would it work in Iran?
Like
Iran, Muslim countries, or
it's working very much now.
I would say it's working.
It is.
Working.
It is.
But
looking for
we
marriage
used to
partners.
have this system which was arranged marriage, but now it's changing very fast to
now
be
Tinder
like
can take that role.
And internet now is mostly in Iran is used for these purposes.
So it has brought like more liberality in a sense.
Much more so that even though that this system cannot stop it anymore. They have filters and everything, but still young people find a way to hack it and break all the
So how do they convince their parents that this Tinder, this partner found on Tinder is a good partner? How do they convince their family?
They don't need to convince. Parents often cannot stop it, because when young people want to have something, they will have it if there is a will in there, and there is a strong will for young people to have all this information from internet, and nobody can stop it everywhere in the world.
Then it means also that the society is not impossibly strict, also in one way. So, anything else you guys want to?
I'm a feminist.
To conclude.
I just need to say I'm a feminist.
Actually,
I'm a feminist also, actually.
You said you want to be a female, or what was it? You wish to be a female?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
No.
For what reason? Because last time you said the reason was to sort of understand the position of being a woman better, but now it sounds more like
that was
in
just
this context.
No, it was just exactly that you said.
All right.
I just wanted to understand how it would be to be a woman.
All right. So we will conclude this discussion for today with accepting Zach as a feminist. So that's all the time we have on Conversations Oasis, which came to you from the Kasviskeidas restaurant here in the city center of Turku. Thanks to our panel, and of course to you, our listeners on Radio Robin Hood. Please join us again next week at these same times. Until then, this is Nana Blomqvist wishing you a pleasant week ahead. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Is David coming back then?